So, this is a topic that I never thought I would speak on. But there's something that's drawing me to this conversation, and I'm going to share in the rawness of how I'm perceiving it, but then also to expand the way it's seen through others. And we're going to talk about God. Such a loaded word, such a load, like religion is such a loaded topic. I was brought up in a very Catholic household, and for a while there, I enjoyed it. Like I was a part of the choir, I was an altar server, like I was very heavily involved and went every Sunday. Um, but then I got to a point where it just felt too rigid, too structured, too like you need to stand, you need to kneel, you need to do this, like do, 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 do. And that doesn't come naturally to me. I like things to flow. You got to move with the energy, move with the room, with the people. Whereas it always felt very like I had to enter a structured container. So I then pushed hard against it for a while. And then another aspect of pushing even further against God was when I experienced a brain bleed and a stroke when I was 20. And I remember laying in the hospital, not that I turned to God for like the last 2, 3 longer years. And I sort of was questioning him as if like, why would you fucking let this happen? Like this is ridiculous. Um, so there was that as well. And so after that, it just felt like my relationship with God was non-existent. Um, And Maddie's not really religious. My parents or my mom is, my family isn't like so it's just dropped off. And then obviously as life has progressed, I've moved into spiritual realm, healing, like all of those things, all of the awareness, presence, that kind of concepts. But now there's been this deep calling to move towards God again, but in a different way. And what I have been exploring and feeling into is this deep connection to what I already do within the spiritual realm and God. So they're not two separate entities. We're speaking about the same thing. It's just, I have a conditioning around religion, and it's like I'm unraveling that conditioning in order to step into this higher power, this consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it, in a more, what's the wording? I'm just stepping into it deeper. And what I sense is because I resist the concept of God, I'm almost resisting an, what I believe in. Because if I believe in consciousness, this higher power, and that is God, but I have resistance to him, how can how can I step into that completely without having some sort of faith in that realm? Because the way that I see God is consciousness, God is higher power, greater power, deeper, whatever you want to call it. Intuition, it's everything in the spiritual realm. God is within the spiritual realm. Jesus was someone who was a human who walked amongst us like me, like you, but was enlightened, like someone like Eckhart Tolle, like Jesus led before his time in a very conscious manner and taught and had disciples who wanted to learn from him because it was a new way of living. And so that's how I see God and Jesus. And so I've been diving into it even more. Like Maddie and I have been going to church. It's been 2 weeks, so it's very fresh and very new, and we're still sort of just dabbling in it. And also we've the church that we're going to is Christian, not Catholic, so it's very different to me. And if anything, I'm sort of still getting used to the feeling of church because what I have been conditioned to represent church is very different to how you step into a church in the Christian world. Um, and having said this, I'm not here to preach religion. What I am speaking about here is just how it's all interconnected, how consciousness, presence, awareness, God, all of it is the same thing. We just speak in different languages, different words, and we're all still pointing to the same thing. And I feel like if you are able to sit with the concept of God and you're not needing to turn to him, you can still turn to the universe, to consciousness, whatever you want to call it, but shed some conditioning around religion, it will help you step deeper into your awareness. So I think the word religion itself, too, is very heavy-handed. It's very dense, and as well as the word God. But religion is a man-made thing that's made us separate ourselves into the Catholic bubble, the Christian bubble, the Buddhist bubble. Like there's different structures within the religion, and I feel like the word religion is just a man-made concept that then just disconnects us even further because it's saying like that religion believes in this thing and that religion believes in that, and then people within religions believe what they what they have faith in is right, and then what others have faith in is wrong, whereas it's all the same thing. All of it, spiritual realm, God, religion, it's all pointing to the same thing. And so I think that's kind of what my this video is about. Because as I'm learning it, I want to share. So a few things that I want to move into is these concepts of sin and confession, and because the way that they have been perceived or received by us in our conditioning or in different churches or however you've been brought up. From my perspective, in the Catholic Church, you confess your sins as in your wrongdoings, the things that are bad. And a sin is something that you've done that is bad, right? And I've been diving deep into this. And what I'm sensing and what I'm feeling and knowing within myself is a sin is simply something like a pattern, like a behavior, like a conditioning that puts you out of touch with God, puts you out of touch with awareness. It temporarily temporarily pinches you off from your higher power. That's what a sin is. It's not necessarily good or bad. It's just something that's dimming your light. And then the confession part of this, which is really interesting because I used to find this so icky, like as a kid, going to confess to a priest that I think I remember confessing that I swore. Going to confess to a priest felt so, it just felt icky. Yeah, icky is the only word that I can come up with, but it just felt so wrong. Like confessing my sins to another human is like, I don't know, it never felt aligning. So, what I'm seeing a confession is at the moment, and this could evolve and change as I deepen my awareness here within this realm of God. But a confession is shining light onto your sin, right? So, actually becoming aware of the sin that's pinching you off from your light and confessing it in the sense of acknowledging it, becoming aware of it. So there doesn't need to be this practice of confessing from yourself to a priest. It's confession within yourself, confession that you're aware of a pattern that's playing out that you know is pinching you off from achieving greatness, or you know that is dimming your light or like numbing you out. It's confessing that it's there. It's releasing the resistance that you have with your shadow. So essentially, a confession is becoming aware of the shadow. Because if you go into the shadow realm, like in that spiritual realm, with where we look at our shadows, it's essentially something that is unconsciously running our life. Um, and then because it's running our life and like our inner world is affected by that shadow, our outer world is. And so confessing it is just bringing awareness to that shadow. So I'm finding this conversation around God very interesting, especially I never thought I would actually talk about this. Um, and I'm also feeling this shift towards God. Like a lot of people are moving towards that at the moment because not that I know, but like what I sense within is even the spiritual realm right now is becoming very confusing, heavy. There's all of these healing modalities. There's so many different ways and wonders and things to do to clear your aura and do this and do that and do that. But what I'm sensing is God is like, what came before a lot of that? So I'm seeing God and consciousness, the universe, all of it as the same thing. I feel the need to just have a pause and have a sip of my cacao. So maybe we just sit with that feeling or sit with that thought for a moment. Because I even know, like, Eckhart Tolle, I listen to him a lot. He will sometimes pull out verses and the Bible and speak to different things that Jesus has said or different stories that are in there. And you can see the interconnection of like the spiritual world awareness consciousness that Eckhart speaks about and God and these stories around Jesus. Because essentially he was just someone in the on earth, sorry, on earth that recognized God, recognized this higher power within him, and was teaching from that space. And this is then where the Bible has come out of, and there's been many different interpretations of the Bible. But if you strip it all back, he points to the very same thing that like teachings of the Buddha points to. And even in the spiritual realm of like energy, it's all the same thing. Like if you become aware of your energy and move it, move with your body and not have resistance, then God consciousness can move through you. And if anything, like lives through you. So people say like they approach the day saying a prayer, which is like an intention. God, walk with me or show me today where I need to spend my energy or how I serve you. This is the same as the energy realm. How do I, what, show me through the feeling, right? Of what feels aligned for me today. And I'll move towards that. I'll listen to my intuition. It's the exact same concept. The exact same concept, except people say God, and I think a lot of people have this concept of God as this man that's sitting up above us. But God is your consciousness, your awareness, the presence that you have within. So when you're praying or setting your intention to God, you're touching in and acknowledging the part of you that is the truer you, that is that deep self. that is the higher power, that is consciousness. And it's almost like seeing Jesus as a role model. So he moved throughout this earth, no matter what people said, no matter of the outcome, which we can get to of like when he died on the cross. And he says that sentence about um don't judge what others don't know, or something. I'm butchering that quote, but essentially he kept true to himself even on like during his last breath. He kept so true to himself that he even said to whoever it was, Mary that was with him or whoever it was, but just let's not judge these people because they are unaware of what they're doing. Like their unconsciousness, they don't have the awareness to see that killing me is their unconscious behavior or is their resistance to higher power. And so it's like using Jesus as, how would Jesus react to this? How would Jesus move through life? What would he do? And it's living in alignment with yourself in the sense of not the mind concept, not your personality, not this character, this human character that you are for this lifetime, but yourself as in your deeper, truer, higher power, God essence of who you are. And so in each situation, does this feel right for me or is this hindering me? Does this feel like something that's coming from love or does it feel like something that's sinful in the sense of is pinching me off from love? Very interesting, this conversation. And this is just like me opening up this realm of just seeing it all connected because you know what's at the core of this? It's just dropped in, but at the core of this is right now, as this world currently stands, there is so much disconnection. There is so much this side, that side, them, us, so much separation, so much resistance to others, to certain situations. And there is a valid reason why. It all feels fucking disconnecting and misaligning for a lot of us. I've lost the train of thought and I'm waiting for it to drop back in. And I'm opening up this concept around God and consciousness and awareness and presence because that in itself is a huge space where disconnection lies within a lot of us. There's all these different religions, there's all these different viewpoints. We believe there's a spiritual realm and then there's religion. They are the same thing. And I think what I'm sensing from speaking about this is just releasing the resistance here, especially within myself and speaking about it openly. It doesn't mean I'm going to preach God, but I'm seeing everything as one. I'm seeing everything connected. It's just different ways of speaking about the same concept, the same thing. It's just different pointers, different languages. And you need different pointers, different languages, different levels of understanding so that everyone can not reach, but everyone can be involved in these conversations essentially. So you need to have different levels of entry points for people to feel into this higher power. So maybe religion is easy for some and they can drop straight into this higher power, whereas the spiritual realm is easy for others and they can drop into this higher power. But what I'm sensing within myself is I've had an internal disconnection between the spiritual realm and God. And right now I'm intertwining them, seeing that they're connecting and removing a sense of resistance and separation within myself, which means then when I move throughout this world, I've almost like dropped, I can say like I'm dropping a layer of judgment towards people because all of us are here on earth to experience. We're all at different levels, we're going through all different things. But the current state of disconnection or separation between us and our fellow neighbor, or just anything like from like religion groups, is so loud, so fucking loud, that no wonder why this world seems like it's fucking chaotic. And so what I'm sensing is this is asking me to see bigger, asking me to see beyond my conditioning in order to just share. Like this is just me sharing, me stripping away a resistance, a separation that I had within myself in order for me to step into this world in a more wholesome sense, as in less judgment, less separation within. And so that can be reflected on the outer. And this is where I feel like a lot of our work sits. We are trying to approach this world and all of the crises that are happening physically and outside of ourselves. When the disconnection, the separation is currently within like a lot of us. And once we start to recognize our own disconnection, our own separations, the frequency of ourselves shift. And then each person that does that, the frequency of the earth shifts with us. It can't continue the way that it is when we are all stepping into higher frequencies or deepening our faith or tuning into higher power and living from a place of alignment, from love, from truth. And I mean, not surface level truth as to what you mentally believe is true, but truth within yourself, then the world shifts with us. Whoa. I'm just having a full body reaction. There's just a lot of energy moving with that dropping in and that awareness. Because I don't know about you, I feel tearful when this comes up. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I look at this world, it's a release, obviously, but when I look at this world, it can feel so heavy and so dense and so fucking confusing. And like, let's just take like World War III or whatever the fuck is breaking out right now, and the fuel prices and people are panicking, and there's just you just watch it, and it looks like such chaos, and you think, how the fuck do we get through this? And it's almost like I don't want to go down this path that's fueled by disconnection and separation of all of us, because we're all playing a role in this. And so sometimes it scares me because I'm bringing children, literally new babies, into this world when we feel so chaotic. And when I sit in that place, I can get very emotional, very fearful, and very reactive in the sense that I want to jump on and speak about it and I want to share my point of view and rah, rah, rah. But I know that all of that just adds to the disconnection of this fucking world. That then what I say is coming from my opinion, and someone else will push against that, and they won't have that we won't have the awareness that we can both hold different opinions and still operate in the same world, and we create a bigger division. So, what I sense is I can't share. I'm very aware of what's going on in this world, and it feels heavy and dense, and I really don't want it to go down the path of like more disconnection and separation. But what I know to be true is when I work on here, when I work within myself, within my own separations, within my own disconnections, then what I experience on the outer world is so much nicer, is so much more loving. I come across people that are just beautiful, and my relationships improve, and my children are experiencing this world from a very different place than the chaotic, disconnected one that feels so loud at the moment. And I recognize that not everyone on this earth right now is here to see their own shit and sit with their own separations, resistance, disconnections, conditioning, whatever the fuck you want to call it, within themselves. And they will project and blame and guilt and keep the separation alive. But I have deep, deep faith or knowing that the more that we work with here, the more that we bridge the disconnection we have within, the more the frequency of this earth, this world moves towards higher power, greater good, consciousness, awareness, God, whatever you want to call it. And that feels like a place to end this. I hope this, I trust that this met you perfectly for right now. There was a lot in this. If you sense emotions that arise while listening or afterwards, whatever, sit with them. Even reach out to me if you're feeling this sense of like rage towards religion and things. Just, I open up this space for this conversation. Um, yeah, it feels like a beautiful place to end it.